Thank you again for being here. This is going to be the second panel of today. The topic of this panel will be, are current leader-follower dynamics in the salsa scene outdated? This is going to be the second panel now of the concept of Behind the Shines, which is my new podcast with the mission to make our scene a better place by talking about topics that really matter. You might have seen me walk around with this t-shirt that I just got for this festival. You might wonder if I'm wearing the same t-shirt the whole weekend. Yes. I was social dancing in it too. So next time I'm going to make a few more, and then also I will sell it as merch, so I can cover your hourly rates as well. With us today, we have Talal from Brussels. With Anneta, who's the partner of Vanes.
Yeah. Vanes is back. My other half is
yes, the other half is over there. Yes, right there. Voila! And with us as well, we have Yaritza. Thank you. Yeah. So thank you very much for being with me today. Just like with the previous panel, the topic is a little bit free for interpretation. So I'm going to hear all of you out on what you answered. So please first tell me on the statement whether the leader-follower dynamics are outdated, if you agreed or disagreed or were neutral. And then you can give your own interpretation of what the question meant in a 1-minute statement. So you don't have to anchor to each other's points yet. We will drill down afterwards. Talal, I will give you the word first.
I've been in the business for quite a long time. I mean, nearly 25 years. So I've seen waves and waves of different ways of leading and following and everything. And it was always dependent on phases. I would say, for example, when I started, it was more about social dancing, fun. It was fresh. It was new. There was nothing technical back then. We just took things the way it was. And I think also with the rise of so many artists and techniques in school and everything, it all depends how social dancers were inspired from that one or this one or that one. And plus, things went into different directions. Those who learn salsa for pure social dancing, those who learn salsa for more for performing, or more to go technical, to go on stage. Then you have this coming with that in a congress or in a party. But outdated or no, I know. I was just there is evolutions. There is no single. I can't say. I cannot say anything about the fact that is outdated or not. It's just it's in permanent evolution, changing, shaping. Depends on actually where you dance, with who you dance, and how you learn things. I mean, that's it.
And you're happy with where it's evolving towards?
I mean, I cannot position myself in that position, being happier. It's just the way it is. Okay. Mm-hmm. Luckily, we are in an era where you have pretty much everything for each and everyone's taste. So you find your thing. Let's say so. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want, you're gonna find it. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anna.
Great. Well, for me, their perspective is more based on the Cuban scene, so not so much strictly on crossbody. So I would say my experience is definitely different to the crossbody dancers, because I think in general, why I'm more prone to Cuban style is the actual fact that women have more to say. Okay. So in crossbody, because I started crossbody, I kind of felt like it was all about shines and patterns, and there wasn't too much space for me to actually impose movement. But that I'm talking, it's 15 years plus behind crossbody, so I'm not an active crossbody dancer at the moment. So back then, it was more a one-way conversation. You had to just, envision what department, startup, you as a follower, you had to follow. So you had to just execute the movement that the follower would, have to complete from the vision of the leader. Now, what I love about Cuban salsa is the fact that we've got incorporation of Afro-Cuban and rumba is very much about chemistry between female and male energy. So that brings out the playfulness in dance. So I feel it gives more room for the woman to have more to say in the dance and also navigate through it. There is also certain things that Osbanis give me always a platform and an opportunity, because I know in old school way of teaching, women was not really saying much. It was more about the leader saying what is happening, and the lady was there looking beautiful and pretty and just really not giving much voice, which I think that evolved and changed a lot over the years, which is amazing. But typically in Cuban salsa, I think there is more playfulness and flirt in dance than in crossbody. I know there's a lot of action now that rumba and Afro-Cuban also is incorporated in mambo. So I think that dynamic can open up a little bit more freedom of expression, because I would say it takes two to tango. So it should be a conversation. Like, you know, when we speak, it's not that you just give me your monologue, but I'm completing what you're starting. And I think this is the beauty in dance that, for me, makes me fall in love with it. We don't speak maybe the same language, but dance is the language. So we can complete each other's sentences through movement. So it is really, I enjoy much more dances with the leaders that let me put a little bit of more creativity and freedom than the ones that I feel just give me a lot of figures and I'm like, I need to make it to the end of the track. Because sometimes I do feel like that when the dancer only thinks about completing patterns. And one of, like, to wrap it up, I think things that stuck in my mind was when I had a dance and the song was finished, it was, you know, jumping onto the next one, and the dancer, the leader, tell me, can I just finish my move? And I thought, oh, bless him. He didn't really enjoy the dance. He didn't really interact with me. He thinks task-oriented. Like, I have this figure, I've got this pattern, I've got this combo, so I need to start from the beginning to the end and need to complete it. So it would be beautiful if we could join each other on this journey and complete each other's sentences and treat the dance as a language where both of us have equal say, right?
Yeah. Great, thank you so much.
Sorry, it was loud.
No, that's good. That's good. Thank you so much. Yaritza.
Well, I'm in the more newer generation side, so I haven't been dancing for yes, I've been dancing for a long time, but not in the scene for 25 years. So, but in the little time that I've been in the scene, I do have seen some evolution. I think especially on that reactiveness and playfulness of the follow. I think something that might have sparked that, it's maybe the improvisation competitions, because that's almost like a requirement, right? For you as a follow to be more reactive. So it makes you start discovering more that side. That's how it was for me. And that's how I started enjoying it more, social dancing. But I do think also it comes from the past teachers or the older teachers where dynamics were differently. That usually man is the one that talks. And that was the way I learned too. My teacher, he was the one that mostly talked. And even though my female teacher, she was amazing, she almost never said anything. So I think it's the role that we grew up seeing, and we almost know just how to replicate that. So it's more on us to start seeing those things, thinking and trying to make things differently. And of course, it's gonna feel different for the older generations to see that and adapt and accept. But I think it's just part of evolution. So I do see that it's changing. I just think we still have to find that balance between still doing our role of following without feeling so much like we're interrupting the whole dance, and then that the lead gets also frustrated, that it's something more like give and take, and like Anneta said, like a conversation. But till we get to that point, there's going to be a lot of moments where it feels like uncomfortable, like, oh, she's interrupting me and he's doing this and so it's just part of the process, I think.
Yes, thank you so much for that. I actually really enjoyed how you phrased it. This is a topic that has come up previously already a few times on my podcast as well, on interviews with other artists. For example, with Karel Flores and with Edita. We talked about the lack of space for followers to be able to express themselves in dance. Just like you said, in crossbody, it seems there's less space because it's more patterns to be executed, whereas in Cuban dance, there's more freedom to play around with the rhythm and to give each other that space instead of, okay, Suzy Q, boom, spin pattern, right? Talal, do you agree that there's a lack of space for followers in the New York style?
Not totally, because working actually for this, for a certain, we're either working for more than 10 years together. And also we reshaped our way of teaching in a way that we try to unlearn things to go more for simplicity. And by saying simplicity, that means we always believe that simple is beautiful. Where I'm getting is like when your pattern is simple and you release more time in terms of, not wasting time in packing your pattern with things that maybe your partner won't get because, just because you're not doing it the right way. We go for simple things in order to release time for your partner to express herself. Okay. So which means I wouldn't want, for example, me personally, for example, in social dancing, I wouldn't want, for example, to give my partner a hard time trying to decipher all kind of movement packed in 1 second. You know what I mean? I need to give her that 3, 4, 5 seconds to enjoy her right turn, to enjoy her crossing, to enjoy being by herself and reconnect. It's more about like exactly as Anneta mentioned, creating that conversation and exactly that, taking in consideration the music that is playing right there, because somehow you need to connect with that song too. And not only because you learned 50, 60 patterns and you want to put them no matter what within that song. So as I said, for me, what I said, it depends actually how you see it, how you want to transmit it as well. In our case, we really try to push into simple is beautiful. And instead of wasting or spending your energy into complicated patterns, more release time for you and your partner to communicate, to enjoy yourself, and to it's just a different way of seeing it.
So I will throw another bone here into the arena to play devil's advocate, because it's actually a story that I hear almost from every artist. Oh, we need to leave more space to the followers, keep it simple, don't do complicated stuff. Now, what happens is, I personally, for example, in my social dance, I like to get a little bit crazy sometimes. Do a lot of arm spaghetti, a lot of funny patterns, little jokes inside, just letting them come one after another, almost overwhelming, not overwhelming, but like really playing with the attention of my partner. And I actually know from a lot of followers that they tell me they really enjoy this feeling of just letting go almost of the control and just, seeing what happens without in that moment putting in their voice. So, or at least to not have as much space as, for example, in a Cuban dance. And they actually enjoy that moment to let go of control. So there's also a part of social dancing where we do enjoy these dynamics and we do enjoy just really fully being a lead and fully being a follow. Now, is that then a wrong way of expressing?
No, if I'm just taking like Edita's word right now, if the technique is right and the partner, the female partner feels that she's like well taken care of, then there is no harm, okay? And the problem is, like, for example, you have a lot of people who would see this technique, they would try to learn it, they will learn it wrong, and they will just give a hard time to their partner on social dancing, okay? Thinking they're doing the right thing. So where to find the balance, that's the question.
But I think, like, I don't know, as I hear it, I'm like, okay, but what does it mean just being a follow and just being a lead? Like, maybe the way we think of our roles are not just like black and white as we have learned, right? Like, oh, being a follow just means like, I'm just going to let go of all the things that I can still approach from dancing. It doesn't mean having control. It can be, but it doesn't necessarily mean. So I think maybe it's just not like that, like, oh, I'm going to be a follow and I'm just not going to think about anything and I'm going to just do everything. And same for the lead. I think it's so much pressure because I don't lead so often, but I can just imagine how hard it is also to have so many things to think about. Mm-hmm. So that's why sometimes when I have a dance that I feel like the lead is doing so much, maybe at the beginning I get a little tired or annoyed, but then I understand, I'm like, okay, maybe what's his journey like? Or like, where is he? Maybe he's just discovering and he's using me as a tool so he can discover more patterns or this and that. So it's also like being patient with each other and not thinking just about, oh, how I feel, but okay, maybe what am I to this person?
But how does it make you feel if you think, oh, he's using me as a tool to practice his moves? Are you okay with that?
I mean, I think it is a little bit part of our profession. Yes, like we dance because we love it and we enjoy, but we're also like, we're being brought to a festival and maybe our level, it's a little bit different, or our style is different, and we are the chance for people to try that different, right? So I try to be also like understanding and patient with that is just part of it. And the day maybe I don't feel like I want to do it anymore, I'll just quit. Right?
Oops.
Because I'm tired and
All right.
I don't want to do it
I think
anymore.
it's also about reading the audience, right? So like, no two dances will be the same. With every person, you're going to have different touch and contact. So this is about creating something together. You're creating the moment together, because even if you're an amazing leader and the follow doesn't really click with you, you're not going to enjoy the same way that you would enjoy with friends and people that you tend to dance more because you dance for the first time. And by the way, for example, with Talal, I always have wonderful dances and we always play around and, so it's about dynamics. It's about this conversation. It's about the connection. And I think, we can talk for hours because this topic is so broad and there are so many things that come to it, because also I believe in the process, because the ladies were always thinking, oh, I just follow. The guy decide what I need to do and I just need to listen and I just need to follow. So I think over the period, like Talal said, there is this evolution and there is periods of times that is shaping up the way the roles of lead and follow. Now also what changed for us as the dinosaur teachers from 20 years plus experience. Back in the day, it would be ladies, guys. Now it's leaders and followers because there's a role play. So that is also like reshaping a little bit more the scene and the concept that their follows can be male and the leaders can be female. So that is also a little bit of changes there to the scene and the actual role play, which is great. But you see, it's like we have to always I think it's like self-development. We need to be open up to change, like what we've been saying, like Mario was saying, with everything, with social media, with festivals, because we are all evolving daily, and the dance evolving too, and the influences and the fashion in dance as well, because Pachanga was in fashion, everybody was putting Pachanga. Rumba is in fashion, everybody's putting Rumba. Afro. One thing super important, what we always say with Osban is dance is to express, it's not to impress. And I think that there's a fine line there. If the dancer want to use me as a tool, use me for humorous and light dancing, it's about the fact, is he actually expressing something or he try to impress me? Mm-hmm. Because if you're just trying to impress me, it's like a one-way conversation because I feel like I'm there as a tool for you. But if in that you put that expression that I feel I can be a part of your play, part of the exercise, because of course we need to challenge each other for the scene to grow. So if we feel like, oh, maybe the guy is trying things out to be better, to try something else, to see how this play and interaction can develop. So I think there's so much to it. Mm-hmm. And also one thing that we always stress, stage is stage, dance floor is dance floor. Social dance is called social for a reason. And I know you had a topic on the cameras and everything. Mm-hmm. My personal insight is my only worry when the camera is around, people don't dance with each other. They dance for the views. And so I think still there's nothing wrong with that. Like we say, it's around, it will be there and it will develop, but it's important to still remember the camera is there, but I'm dancing with you. I'm not dancing with the camera of whoever's watching. And I cannot think about judgment thinking, I need to impress, I need to look good, because obviously we all want to look good when we're dancing. But at the same time, sometimes when you enjoy, you kind of look good at the same time because you have expression and feeling. So I think we can talk for hours and the topic is so rich and probably each one of us have also such a valuable feedback.
So no backflips on the dance floor.
For example,
yeah,
but sorry, just to say, I think this is the influence of the social media and camera, because you just want to be seen. Like even I think for not artists, because it's different pressure on us, but there's also for social dancers, oh, maybe I want to have a nice video. I'm dancing with that person, how to attract the attention. So they try to do something that will be maybe a little bit more outrageous that will attract attention.
I would really love to talk about this for much longer because, as you said, there's so many ways we can go in here. We mentioned role rotation, which was something I thought maybe we'd touch on today, but of course there's too many things to go into. And also about the performative part. If we think back about how dance was enjoyed in the Palladium, the videos we see there, it was extremely performative, and especially doing tricks and crazy things with people watching, where you could also say it's also a part of our culture and dance. But let's leave that for the next Congress where we all meet. I also wanted to open the floor for some audience questions. Yeah, I'm going to go around. I'll do 2 or 3. So please, just phrase what you would like to know from the artists.
Hi, thank you very much. I have a bit more fundamental questions. I've heard that in other social dancings, for example, West Coast Swing, that the followers kind of can initiate their own turns and stuff. And I would like to ask what your opinion is on this, like giving the follower even more possibility. Would it make the dance too chaotic, or would it be beneficial for salsa as well?
Once again, for me in Cuban, I do that a lot. I do it a lot. And I'm really lucky to have a partner that is open to it. So Osman is always, he never take it personally. Oh, I wanted to do that, but you change the plan. Even in the classes, we have that playfulness and we have this conversation. Mm-hmm. So something as simple as the right turn, I can turn to the left, which for the partner, I don't take it like offensive. I would say, I just want to play. So I make you realize I'm not a pair of arms, I'm here. Mm-hmm. So I don't only try that with Osvanis, that I know he expects me. And now he knows that I'm going crazy. But even for the dancers that usually don't dance with me, when they see I change direction in my turn, it's not to disrespect their lead. It's just to change a little bit of a flow. Mm-hmm. And so I definitely, West Coast Swing is amazing dance and it's got different implementation on different techniques. So that's definitely a good comparison that, we could, because that's also a partnering dance. So I think, once again, it's about your audience. If you feel your partner is more stereotype and it's more, no, I'm the leader, you listen, then obviously you will respect that and maybe try something. But if you see that there was no approval, you're not going to do it again.
So, Talal, how would you feel if the follow disobeyed your orders?
No, one of the things actually I noticed in social dance, and I try to sense and also try to teach to our audience is that the lady, I'm going to use the term lady, can decide actually, can transmit to her to her leader or to her partner that the energy and the tempo she wants to dance on. You know what? By just like somehow showing how she want to do her basic step, how smooth she want to be led, all these kind of things, And if you, as a good leader, from the moment you grab your partner, you feel that, say, okay, this partner want to dance that way on this song, which means that puts you, that we're not talking about like switching role, you are somehow following your partner as a leader. You're following your partner, you're following her knees. That's how she want to turn. That's how she want to go, be moved from one side to another. Maybe she want to dance small. That's something I can sense from a lady when she's dancing, just from her first basic step, from the way she will carry her body, from the lightness, or from her speed. So, and also when we do movements, for example, imagine, for example, I'm asking her to do movement and she do it in a certain way. In that moment, I become myself a follower. I'm not going to go against her reaction, but I'll try to go and follow her to bring her back. And so it's a game between you being a leader and follower during one dance. So yeah, why not? I mean, giving that room and that's actually what she enjoys. She doesn't feel restricted. She have a certain freedom. She does what she wants to, even if it's not what you best decided. But what you, as a good leader, you need to go and grab that moment and try to go with a different current. That's all.
Great.
I think it also, like in salsa, it's not like other dances, like for example in ballet, that everywhere in the world one thing means the same thing.
Right.
I think in salsa, maybe for one teacher raising the hand on this level of this side, it means the right turn. Maybe for another is this. So it depends a lot of who did you learn with, how did you learn, and how also the follower learned that our signs are not necessarily the same. We understand different. And as the dance goes, forward, like we understand, okay, what kind of language our partner is talking, and we like, okay, start dancing better. But of course, the first 30 seconds are pretty much about discovering and feeling, unless you are a very confident lead that already knows very well its dynamics. It's different, right? You just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, also, I wanted to say it before, but you're really one of the followers where I feel you give a lot of input from the follower side, which is always interesting, because when a follower puts in more of her own style or feels that freedom, it adds a lot of dimension to the dance, because you can choose to just follow exactly what I ask, or you can also add some styling elements, maybe some extra steps.
Yeah, I think yesterday I took Denise's classes, and the topic was about styling in partner work. And I think the way they approached the topic, it was very nice, because she was explaining how we can style our dancing, keeping our base, our energy very neutral, without having to like any of us interrupt, because just like the follow wants to style a lot, maybe the lead wants to do it too, right? So it's always trying to be aware of like, how can I do that? And I do it, but many times it goes wrong. And I'm like, oh, I'm interrupting. So I'm like, oh, I go back to neutral. So
That's fine. Things can go wrong in a dance. Doesn't need to be perfect. I really want to stay here for much longer. I'll take one more audience question, and then we try to keep a brief answer. Yeah, I hope it's not too complex of a question.
Class at 2:30.
Let's see here. It builds upon what Talal said. Like, hey, we as leaders, we should give more room and like try to feel what the follow also like is trying to transmit. Let's say. What I'm wondering and also noticing is like whenever I'm in a show team, I'm getting choreo together, that at some point, the lead, let's say, he's trying to find the right choreo or like the right steps, and there's a room for the follower, let's say, also to give in input, but that they tend to not take in that space. And then also in social dancing, when I do give the room, like, hey, let's do shines, or like leave an arm open so that they can do some styling or like give something back, that is not naturally, or like the followers don't intend to take that space. So what I'm wondering is, how can we also motivate? Obviously, we as leads have to give the space, but like, how can we also motivate the followers to also, hey, give the attention back? Hey, this is how you feel. For example, with Anneta, okay, because you feel from Anneta like how she's doing the move, you can't go against her intention. But like, how can we also teach followers to actively give that input?
So there are things I think that we cannot teach. You need to give the dancer the time to go through his or her journey. So I think a dancer gain also confidence and experience through that journey and through how many hours he spent not in classes but in social dancing to exactly feel that moment. So there are things we can teach, like technical parts and everything, but that moment where actually they say, okay, it's now, it has to be felt, and it comes actually, I think, with time. We cannot just like say, okay, we're gonna create a pattern where the follower, okay, says it's my time to do things. I don't think it would. Each time is gonna be different, right? So I will come back again to us as leaders and say, okay, when I say like giving time and freedom to the partner, is to exactly be a good listener, okay? And if you feel that, okay, she's ready to do it, you give her that time. If she's not, take care of her from the beginning of the song until the end, because, you know, we always have the awkward moments with some followers. You leave her alone for a minute and she's like, so what am I going to do now? You know what I mean? So you have to avoid that. That's all. So I said, it depends where she is in her salsa journey that you're going to feel if she's willing to express herself or not.
My direct response is, because if I understood well your intention as well, how do you know if the lady is ready to do more, and how can you give her that space as the initial concept of it? Pose. You do pattern, whatever you dance back. Is she gonna move or she's gonna freeze? If she froze, obviously she's not ready. But a girl that wanna do more, she would take this moment as her option and chance to shine. So even last night dancing, I had this option, like they would break and I was like, okay, I'm not breaking. I do something with this moment because it's my moment to have my initiation of the conversation. So another thing, well, in Cuban, very easy, vacilala. But in crossbody, when you just let go, like Talal said, if you let go of the lady, there comes this frozen moment like, what do I do now? Because you always want to style and you want to have this moment to shine. But when the moment comes, you kind of sometimes freeze. So I think one of the two things you can do. Have a little pause and break in frame. See if the girl is going to create something with this moment to give the sense of direction to you, and you see if she's playful about the movement or if she's not feeling so confident. The next one, lead her into shines just for interaction. And again, that's some very quickly because I know we have to finish. Part of rumba and Afro-Cuban. We will do that for 45 in the small arena. We will talk about rumba and Cuban rhythms. But what I mean by that, it's important the fact that still we interact. Even if we're in front of each other, we still lead and follow. It should not be the part like, okay, now I'm free. Hey, I can do everything and I don't care about my partner, regardless if you lead or follow. So I think, like Talal said, we all will have different experience and different level of development in that stages. So it's important to, once again, read the audience. If your follower is beginner or is professional, it's just to feel that connection. Like Osman said, electricity.
However, there's something I think we need to, sorry to interrupt, if we something we need to unlearn or to cure. Oh, sorry, Max.
No, it's okay.
It's one sense. Is actually when the follower want to do things constantly from the beginning of the song until the end, which is like extreme. That's something we really need to, I would say, cure. You don't know how to do much. Sometimes you don't know how to do much. Less is more.
I want to finish with you, and I'm going to frame you a little bit for the last one, because part of what this question was as well, what I want to hear, and which I think you would be great to answer, is because they approach from the leader's perspective, how do we give the space? But I want you to tell me how we teach followers how to use that space.
Yes. I'm going to tie this
with
that thought that it just came while I was hearing. I think many times we just think of following and leading as something or connection we talk about between us as a couple, but we're dancing to the music. So I think when we start a dance, usually we follow the lead's interpretation to music. But I think one way that is super important for the lead to give space is to break on those moments, like Anneta said, that's one way to do it. So the follow can also do her own interpretation with music because it can be very different. So it's a way to give us space to talk while we dance. How do we teach that? I think, first of all, it's breaking that thought that styling is just related to our arms and that we can only style when we have open space. Styling, it's the way we dance. That's styling something. So you can style anything while you turn your head, while you move your chest, while you do so many things. So I think talking about it, saying hey, from the beginning, maybe we cannot teach, this is how you do it, but we can open discussion from the beginning of a beginner's journey. Okay, maybe this is not something you might feel comfortable to do right now because you are thinking of timing, following patterns, so many things. But later on in your journey, you will be able to understand that you will have more space to that. So we would do that. That's how we do it in our classes with Diego. We talk about those things that maybe at the moment don't feel you're ready to do it, but you will get there. So this is one tool. So our shine classes and our styling classes, we try to develop those things, focus on elements that you're going to be able to use when you dance by yourself and when you dance with your partner. The way we use our arms, the way we feel the music, the way we hear. So.
Great. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And also the audience for being here with us today. Please, after your applause, stick around for 1 minute. I have one more thing to say, but first I want to really thank the artists that were here and shared their opinion today. And again, for next time, I'm going to have to book out a whole hour per topic because I already noticed that it's just great to talk about these things. I hope all of you enjoyed this as well. And this is a concept I hope to bring back again at future events. And this is Behind the Shine.
Shine.
Shine.